Hey, Carmen, are you there? Oh my gosh, how long has it been since you and I last talked? It has to have at least been a whole year now, right? Isn't that so crazy? I guess that must have been when I stole your super smart, super rich boyfriend John from you, huh? Man, to think that you were so close to living an easy life and not having to worry about money or working or anything like that ever again. But you must have been pretty shocked when you realized that you were betrayed by him for me, huh? I mean, what was the bigger shock, having your husband leave you for another woman, or that the woman was your own sister? That must have been like a double whammy for you. Don't worry, I know all about how you probably feel about it, but just because I understand doesn't mean I'm going to be giving back John to you anytime soon. Are you seriously texting me at 3 in the morning just to send me this crap? Can you at least wait until the normal hours of the day before you start trying to brag about how amazing your life is to me, Lisa? Well, you were already up anyways, right? I actually just happened to get up to use the bathroom, if you must know. But if you're still trying to lord something over me from a year ago, I've moved on and don't care about you or John anymore. What is that supposed to mean, huh? It means that I'm going to bed, because it's 3 in the morning, Lisa. Hold on a second, we weren't through here. I still have more that I want to say to you. Well, I'm already putting my phone down, so... I really can't believe that you're such a sore loser that you would rather pretend to go to sleep than listen to what I have to say. You must be so scared of having to face the truth. That's why you act like this, huh? You really think I bought that my messages didn't get you wide awake or that you're already over losing John? I know that your heart is still just so full of love for him. You probably spent the rest of the night just crying into your pillow, didn't you? All because you can't handle the fact that you were beaten by your little sister who is living a much better life than you now. You think you can fool me with some half-hearted message about being over the past? There's no way that I'd ever buy that. But now that I have you at a decent time of day, I just wanted to let you know that you are never going to get John back from me. You're going to be single and poor for the rest of your life, and there is nothing that you can do about it, ever. Got it? Hey, why aren't you responding to me at all? I see that you've already opened up these messages. Well, as long as I have you here, I also just wanted to let you know that I saw you going into your tiny shack of an apartment building. To think that you used to be a housewife to someone who was rich and successful, and now you live in a messed up little place like that. I've always wondered what it's like to have to live in a place like that. Care to share any of your thoughts with me on the matter? Right, well, I guess whether or not my apartment is really all that bad is more in the eye of the beholder, if you ask me. I mean, I pay over $3,000 in rent a month, so I think it's pretty nice, but I guess others might not see it that way. Hold on a second. You pay over $3,000 a month for that place? Is that supposed to be some kind of joke? Or did you just tell me the wrong number? You're telling me that it's a 3 followed by 3 zeros, and you pay even more than that? I know that you live in one of the worst parts of town, and you expect me to believe that not only do you pay that much in rent, but you think that it's not a bad place? It has nothing to do with the eye of the beholder or anything. You just have a terrible apartment and are lying to me about it. So you mean that it's really been a whole year since you and John ran off together and you still haven't figured it out? Figured what out? What are you talking about, huh? Just what kind of game are you trying to play here? You mean you really have no idea at all about what's been happening to John's dad's company? Quit talking in circles and just tell me what you're going on about. I am not going to play some little guessing game with you. Got it? I'll try and make this quick for you then. When you and John got together last year, I really was shocked and didn't know how to react at all. But that's when I noticed the mistake that you made. The only mistake that I could exploit to my advantage. Do you have any idea what I could be talking about at all, Lisa? No, I don't, because you sound like a crazy person rambling about nothing. I know that you're just mad and jealous of the fact that I'm living the good life with John, and no creepy or threatening thing you say is going to scare me or change that fact. Well, okay then. I suppose I won't bother finishing my thought then, but just don't say that I didn't warn you. You didn't warn me about anything at all. You're just acting as if I'm supposed to know some big obvious fact that you're refusing to tell me. You really know how to get under my skin, do you know that? I get that you're still mad because I stole your husband, but that's no reason for you to still be so upset. I mean, just take it as proof that I'm the better sister between us and leave it at that. Just face it, I'm full of beauty and brains and everything you're not. You're certainly full of something, at least on that we can agree. What did you just say to me? Just what is that supposed to mean, huh? Why are you always such an awful jerk? I really don't have time nor the energy to get into this with you. But I've given you more than a fair warning. If you really don't know what's going on under your own roof, though, well, that's not my problem in the slightest. Yeah, I'm so scared of whatever fake story you've come up with to try and scare me, you liar. You really think that I'm going to listen to what some poor lonely old hag has to say to me? I bet you're just mad from living in your tiny little apartment squandering your lonely life away, and this was the only thing you could think of to relieve some stress. But I'm not going to fall for it. I'm better than you and above this petty nonsense. And by the way, John and I are about to leave for a trip overseas, so what do you think about that? We've been taking these trips every couple of months since him and I got married. This could have been your life if you were good enough to keep your man. In fact, this time, it's only been 1 month since our last big trip abroad, so you can go ahead and be jealous of us while we go do some globetrotting. Right, well, that sounds like none of my business, but I suppose I just hope that you can enjoy it while you can. That's what I thought, loser. I knew that you'd have nothing to say to that. Carmen, are you there? Do you have any idea about this? Just what is going on here? I know you know, so give me some answers now. Oh, Lisa, so lovely to hear from you. Did you and John make it back from your trip okay? I hope that you enjoyed your little vacation. Welcome home. What do you mean, welcome home? That's exactly what I'm messaging you about. There isn't any home for us to go back to. I'm sorry, Lisa, but I'm sure that I have no idea what you're talking about in the slightest. What do you mean there's no home? I mean that we got back from our trip and then we were going to go to John's parents' house where we've been living. But when we got there, there was a construction crew there and they were in the process of tearing the house down. Oh, that. Right. I had almost forgotten all about that, to be perfectly honest. You mean that you know about this? Is this what you mean in those messages you were sending me last month? Is this what you were trying to warn me about? No more games. I want answers right now. Well, if it's answers you want, I wouldn't waste your time talking to me. You should go and talk to John's parents instead. I'm sure they would love to fill you in. What is that supposed to mean? Do they know about this? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You mean you haven't even tried reaching out to them at all about this? You might have talked to some of your neighbors there about what's going on, but I'm sure they probably don't have too much more to say to you than they moved. But it's because they don't know what's really going on. Why don't you try calling your in-laws and asking them just where they're living now? I don't know what game you're trying to pull, but I just want you to know that the jig is up and you aren't going to scare me anymore. John called his dad and asked where he and his mom were right now. They told us that they had actually moved and that if we were going to see them, we would have to brace ourselves. But that can only mean one thing to me. It must mean they moved to an even bigger and better house and they want to surprise us. I bet it's going to be huge, like 3 stories with a pool, maybe even a statue garden. Oh man, it's going to be like living in a palace, I bet. I can't wait to see their new place so I can rub it in your face. What the heck is going on here? Please tell me this is some kind of sick joke or something. Just what even is this place? Ugh, what is it? What do you want this time? Why can't you just experience something and keep your thoughts to yourself, huh? I mean, I don't understand. We went to the address that John's parents gave us, and it just took us to the crappy old apartment that you live in. This doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, is that where you're at right now? Well, I guess I should have guessed that that was what was going on. What are you talking about? You mean you knew this was going to happen? What else aren't you telling me? I have a right to know. I already told you I'm the wrong person to ask if you want answers. If you really want to know what's going on, you need to ask your in-laws. But why? Why can't you just tell me what's happening? Why are you trying to play these games with me? I just don't really see why I should have to explain anything to you at all after what you did to me. If you want answers, you're going to have to go out and find them yourself. I have got a really, really bad feeling about this. I know I'm not going to like whatever comes next. Oh wow, it's already morning. I had no idea that time was even passing. I was just spacing out for so long. After hearing about how John's father was kicked out of his position as CEO and John lost his role in upper management, I don't think I've moved a single inch since they've told me. So I take it that means you finally worked up the courage to ask your parents about what was going on? Did John and his father come clean to you about getting caught embezzling from the company? That's why the board of directors decided that the next CEO would have to be someone from outside the family. I know, they told me about all of that already. I was so shocked that I've been sitting in place for hours now. I only noticed it was morning because the sun began to shine in my eyes and it finally snapped me out of my trance. And when I came to, we were still in this tiny little apartment. Well, you better get used to it. That is going to be your life from now on. The two of them were sued by the company and made to return all the money that they had stolen. Then they were fired. So they really were fired then? It's not just a suspension or a demotion or something like that? That's right. In fact, I had a feeling that John was doing this even when we were married. It was actually one of the reasons I was so keen to leave him when I did. I know that he and his dad were lining their pockets with the company's money even if I didn't have any proof. I confronted John one day and he ended up spilling everything to me. But it wasn't long after that I found out you two were seeing each other. So I figured I would just rescue myself from the problem and walk away. You have got to be kidding me! How could you just let me walk straight into this situation? I didn't think that you'd be stupid enough not to realize what was happening. But you were, and you tried rubbing your marriage to him in my face. So then, that's why we were living in this tiny little apartment? Are you telling me that you're really paying more than $3,000 a month for this place? Sorry, but you seem to be mistaken again there, Lisa. What are you talking about? What more could you possibly have to tell me? I'm not sure just how much more of this I can take, Carmen. That apartment actually belongs to a friend of mine who helped me out after John and I got divorced. But that isn't the $300 apartment that I'm talking about. The place I live and pay rent for is in another town, if you must know. Wait, so then this isn't your address? But I thought that you were living in this apartment. I know that's what you thought, but you came up with that all on your own and never bothered to check with me if it was really true. But I thought that you were just a housewife. How can you afford that price for an even nice place, even though you weren't even working before? I was never ever a housewife, even when John and I were married, Lisa. What do you mean by that? What did you do then? I thought you just laze around the house and would clean from time to time or make John dinner. Well, you're wrong about that. I was working. It was just that I had a job that I could do from home. I was selling real estate from home and actually managed to make a pretty decent salary for myself. You're kidding me. I had no idea that that's what you were doing. Why didn't I know about that? But if I can be honest with you, I only pay a third of the rent for the place I'm at now. The rest of the money comes from Mom and Dad. But why would they be paying for your apartment? That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's because they're here living with me in this very apartment, of course. Wait, what? They're living with you in your apartment right now? You mean you really didn't know about this at all? Then again, Mom and Dad do always tell me how they do their best to avoid talking to you ever since you stole your own sister's husband from her. So I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't tell you about their move out to live with me. But Dad even talked to his company and asked for a transfer out here so that he and Mom could come and be with me. I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I really had no idea that any of that had happened at all. You mean that Dad really never mentioned any of this to you at all? Well, he might have said one thing, but I didn't know that you were all going to live together in some really nice place. I thought that you had just convinced Mom and Dad to take your side and that you were going to live with them to mooch off of them. And have you heard it all from Dad since he talked about people moving? I haven't at all. That's probably because both Mom and Dad have blocked you on everything and never want to talk to you again. But I thought that they were just having money problems and couldn't afford to pay for their phones. I can't believe they would do that to me after already being so mean about my marriage. You mean your marriage to my ex-husband who you stole from me? Did you really think that Mom or Dad were ever going to go for that? I mean, you know how much Dad talks about the importance of making your own way through the world. He was so disappointed in you when he found out that you had just stolen my husband all because you heard he was rich. But now you and John's family can all work hard to afford that tiny little place together. Don't worry, the rent is quite cheap. It's 10 times less than what I'm paying. How did it all come to this? I just don't understand. This isn't fair. I ended up showing my parents the final conversation that I had with Lisa, and they just shook their heads. I feel like a part of them is holding out hope in their hearts that Lisa's going to have some sense knocked into her, but I just don't have time to hold out for that anymore. We all wonder about what went wrong with Lisa and how she ended up the way she did. My parents think that they might have spoiled her too much as the younger sister. She never worked a day in her life and could basically get anything she asked for. But now I guess she'll have to learn to take care of her own and others now that her and John's family will all be looking for work soon. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Clayton, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to have to work late again today. Do you think you can make your own dinner tonight for yourself?
What, again with this?
Really, I do feel bad having to stay late over and over again recently. But right now, the company and my department specifically is working on a project for a new item, and we only have 1 month left to finish it. Once this last month is over, I'll be able to calm down a bit, and should be able to take more time off.
So that's so. And I guess I'll be going out and getting some filet mignon for myself.
Really?
And of course, since you're the one coming up with excuses to not make me dinner every night, I'll be paying for the meat with your credit card. Shouldn't be a problem for you though, right? I mean, if you're working that much overtime, then you should be making loads of money.
I get that, but I'm getting back to work now.
Filet mignon. Filet mignon.
Hey, Clayton. Recently you've been in your office all day. Are you still making sure to get your work done in there?
Huh? What's with that kind of question? You starting to doubt me now?
Well, you are working remotely now, but you've been in your office for a few days now, and I've never seen you come out, so I'm unsure what you're actually doing in there.
Saw that I'm getting paid still, right?
You showed me that bank statement over 4 months ago.
Showing you once should be more than enough to get you to believe me, right? I'm a very busy man when it comes to the heavy workloads I have to complete. I really do not want to keep sitting here listening to you ask unnecessary questions all day when I need to get back to work. Please stop talking to me while I'm working.
All right. But if you have something I need to talk with you about, then at least answer my texts.
No.
Huh? What the heck, Clayton?
I need to get back to work.
Erica, long time no see. Are you able to talk right now? What? If it isn't my old friend Jenna? How's it going? Well, I'm doing all right, but does this mean that you're back in town? That's right, but just for a little while. I've come back into town looking for some new locations to help expand the company that I started around 3 years ago. I have a main office right now, but I'd like to start opening up offices closer to some of my more distant customers in the hopes of bringing in even more. But anyway, since I'm all the way back in my hometown, I thought I should at least make some time to go out to eat with you or something so that we can catch up again. So what do you think about getting something after work to eat together? I'm sorry. Right now, I'm terribly busy with a project at work. If it's this Sunday, then I'll have time to see you. But I don't want to take away any of your time if you're supposed to be out looking for new places to expand to. This Sunday, huh? Okay. Oh, so that's okay with you then? Yep, that's perfectly fine with my schedule. I am my own boss after all, so I can do whatever I want without having to be worried about not getting my work done. LOL. Thank you so much for doing that for me, Jenna. Sorry that you caught me at a pretty busy time, though. You don't have to worry about that. I had assumed that you'd only have time on the weekends anyway, and was really only asking if you had time after work just to confirm that. And when we meet, I have something I'd like to talk to you about. What's that? It's not something I can convey very well to you over the phone or anything. So it's... I'll just say that there are some good things to it, and some bad things as well. And they impact more than just the two of us. Okay. I understand, I think. Now, once I found us a place to eat on Sunday, I'll give you a text. Do you have any place that you'd recommend we go? Seafood, noodles, a cafe? Whatever place you choose for us to go to will be fine with me. Okay. I'll search for a place tomorrow and let you know. I'm thinking something light, so hopefully a place with lots of salad options. All right. Thank you, Jenna. Clayton, I have a friend from back in college coming into town for work, and her and I are going out to eat together today. So I'll be out of the house for a little while. I won't be back until probably a bit after lunch, so can you make sure to make yourself something for lunch before I come back? And if you haven't noticed already, I made breakfast for the two of us, and I'll be putting your half into the fridge for you to warm up if you want it. Okay? I know that you're in your room right now and are too busy to reply to me. But I can see that you've read these texts, so I'm going to assume that means you've understood what I told you. If you don't, then tell me that now before I leave the house. I won't be able to do anything for you once I'm gone, okay? I'm heading out in about 5 minutes. Jenna? Thank you so much for meeting to eat lunch today. And of course, tell me all those things. Erica. And thank you so much for allowing me to talk with you about all of that. I'm sure that all came as a massive surprise to you, right? But it was really nice for myself to finally get it all out there to you and not have to hold it down any longer. It was a surprise, but I'm happy that you feel a bit more relieved. I was already surprised by the fact that the company that my husband's been working for is actually the company that you're running. But the fact that he's been trying to make advances on you through the company's communication app is a bit... And not just you either, but other employees there as well. Well, let's just say that I'm not okay with that and can understand a lot more things now within my own home. I just wish he could have told me that he was no longer interested in me or something, so that I didn't have to waste any more of my time. It helps that you've understood everything I've said. Of course. I would never have a hard time understanding these things, but I just wish that I could have known sooner. However, now that I'm aware of what he's been up to, I'm a bit worried he'll continue to cause issues within your company. I don't want him to continue to try and talk with you like that, especially on the company's app. That's totally unacceptable. So I'm going to talk with him about this, and if that doesn't work, then I guess we'll be able to make a conclusive decision. All right. I just hope that all of this will end once you speak to him. Just be aware, though, that this has already put him on the chopping block, so don't expect that he'll keep his job, even if he does own up to what he's done. Yeah. I hope to get this all handled for us soon. The only problem is that I'm using a lot of my time and mental space to work on a project for my job, and so I don't have time to really think about my husband enough. You don't have to get too worked up just yet. I plan to tell you all of this before I really have to step in and manage him. So once your work has settled down a bit, think about all of this and let me know what we should do. And remember that you can come to me if things about him don't change, and I'll be willing to have you work for me and stay here. Understood. Thank you, Jenna. Clayton, it's time for you to get off of your computer for a second and come talk to me. I have some things to talk with you about right now.
Shut up. Stop knocking on my door. I cannot focus on my job like this.
First off, stop using only capital letters. I'm not in the mood to be yelled at by you or anyone, okay? And second, I have something very important that needs to be talked about. And so I'd like to talk about it in person.
Shut up. Stop talking to me. It's because you keep trying to talk to me that all my dang focus is ruined now.
You've been locked up in that office so much recently that I've begun to forget what you look like. And when I try to open the door just a little to talk with you, there's no answer. You left part of your shelf in front of it so that I can't get the door open all the way anymore. And it's ridiculous! And if you have things in there like work documents or things you don't want me to see, then just come out here and talk with me. I really don't have the patience anymore for this, okay? I've even been trying to call you so that I can hear your voice, and yet you never answer me. So that's the reason I have to text you all the time now. Even when I have something really important that you need to hear about.
Unless I'm gonna talk to you first, you shut the hell up.
You want me to stay quiet until you come and talk to me? Then what should I do about the things that I want to talk to you about?
Deal with all of them yourself.
But these are things that affect the both of us once a decision is made. I'm not kidding when I say that this topic is about more than just some shallow decision. It'll decide what happens with us from here on, and that includes our marriage.
Whatever you want to talk to me about isn't that important, Erica. I have work to do, and I'm a busy man. You can manage that all by yourself. Stop trying to take my attention away from my own work.
Fine. So I guess I'll be the one to make a decision all by myself then, without your input?
Shut the hell up. Just shut it. Until I talk to you, shut the freaking hell up. Stop making me say it over and over.
All right. Jenna, sorry for keeping you waiting on the update. After what you told me about the things regarding my husband, I've tried looking into some things and have come back with an answer for what to do about him and the choice I'll make. Oh, so you finally made a decision. Yep. I think that I'd be willing to join your company and move out of this place for good. Perfect! I found myself another great employee. But by doing that, what will we do with your husband? I'm aware that he's working remotely for me now, and thinks that he'll continue to be. Well, I guess, what did he say when you spoke to him about what all's been going on? He didn't say a thing, actually. Huh? Well, actually, there's something more to that. For a very long time now, he's been locking himself in his office, and never even answers to me when I try to talk to him. And he'll read all my texts that I've sent him, but never actually respond. And even after meeting with you for lunch, he's been the same way. I knew that all of this couldn't just be something that I could make a decision on, and so I wanted to get his side of the story and what he thought. But when I went and knocked on his door saying we had something important to discuss, he yelled at me a bunch and told me to shut up. I even told him that this was something important that would affect the both of us. But he only responded by saying it couldn't be that important and that he's too busy for me. And then he ended things by saying that it's fine for me to make a decision on all this by myself. And that he didn't want me talking to him unless he spoke to me first. What? Really, I haven't even seen his face in such a long time now. And when I'm at work, he'll leave the office to shower and eat food and live a normal life. This all pretty much shows me that he no longer wants anything to do with me, and really has been trying to live his own life, with whoever he's talking to in your company. Even you. I really don't like saying this, but Jenna, I haven't slept with him for a month now, and it all makes sense why. I get now why he's locked himself in that room, and it's pretty much because he no longer loves me. Dang. I suspected that when he started to talk to me and a few others here about non-business related stuff. But I guess this means it's all too late for him now. And listen, ever since that day he yelled at me like that, he's never even spoken to me or sent me a single text. And as he said, I guess I'll have to be the one to decide on everything by myself now. Understood. So tomorrow, I'll be telling the company I'm currently employed with that I'm leaving, and then I'll come to your company. And actually, I've already spoken with my boss, and he said that within 2 weeks, I'll be able to leave and head over to you. Really? That's perfect. Well, I'll get started myself then on preparing for your arrival. I'll get you an office of your own and everything here, and I'll train you myself. Wait. You'll probably want a company house for yourself as well, right? You can do that for me, though? That would be wonderful. Well, I want to make sure you're away from your husband once you come here, and I'm sure it's tough having to pay full price for a new place to live, so consider your new place of residence found.
Hey, Erica. Yo, what the hell is up with this divorce paperwork? Just when I started wondering why you've been so quiet recently, I walked by the room and all of your things are gone and the place pretty much empty. What? There's a letter underneath the divorce paper. Took a glance at the letter you wrote me. Been out of this house for over 3 days now. Just a second ago I gave your work a call. And they're telling me you left the company days ago as what the frick? What's this about the company I work for, CEO, being that friend you told me about from college? And she started telling you about how I started to talk with other co-workers and leaders at work through the company's communication app about private things? I never knew any of this was going on behind my back. And also, when I was talking to her through that communication app, she made herself out to be so cute and young to me. But now I can see that she's a 40-year-old grandma that I've been talking with. If you'd known that I was talking to her on there, then you should have told me sooner that she's old. Erica. Hey! I'm finally talking to you now, so you can reply to me. I told you that it's alright to talk only when I talk first, right? I have a lot of important things to talk with you about, so reply to me now. Come on. Right now, I don't have a job to go to anymore. And I won't be able to pay the rent for a place like this. And now you're wanting a divorce. The reason I hadn't wanted you to see me all day or to talk to me was because I didn't want you knowing that I was talking to other women while I should have been working. And I didn't want you knowing that I was already at risk of losing my job. If you come back to me and forget the divorce, I'll talk to you again. And I'll begin looking for another job right away. Erica.
After having to sit there and look at all his annoying messages, I was finally able to see what had been going on with him. At this point, I can really see just how horrible of a man Clayton has been. I left him the business card to my lawyer at the house, and so if he has anything else he needs to say before the divorce, he can call them and talk it out. But because of how swiftly I got out of that place unnoticed, I was able to get a divorce from him with no speed bumps. And on his end, he ran crying back to his parents who live out in the countryside, saying he quit his job and lost his wife. But of course, as his mom greeted him at the front door and tried to calm all his crying down, his dad pulled the car out of the garage and put Clayton in it with him. He then drove him a ways out into the woods, where he set his son up with a new job, working for the foresting company out there. What Clayton never realized is that I already told his parents the truth about what he'd done, and so this was their plan to get him back on the correct path. Hearing that it all went to plan while I'm no longer around, I feel so warm inside. It's great to see that he'll never have an office to hide in again now, and that he'll never be able to try and get with any of the women from his work, because he'll be surrounded by other men working in a humid forest hauling wood all day. As for myself, though, I've started working my new job under my friend's supervision in her company. She said before, she's trying to expand the company. Or, in the next couple of months, once my training is done, she's going to have me become the manager of a new location opening up, and will make sure I'm paid more than what I was getting at my previous job. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.